It's another massive weekend of Premier League football and we're looking in depth at Liverpool versus Manchester United as well as all the weekend's games with our special guest John Gibbons from the Anfield Wrap, aka Mo Stewart and Lizzie Doyle's boss. We've got the boss joining us today, haven't we? How are you, John?
I'm very well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for joining us and making me and Dave look like we're attending a funeral. So cheers, thank you very much. Very colourful here. Now, John, Manchester United are the only side to take points off Liverpool so far this season. Does that make them a trickier opponent for you?
I think a little bit, yeah. I think they showed a lot of qualities at Old Trafford that that you can use to kind of exploit any weaknesses that Liverpool might have. Obviously, they defended well, they defended deep, they were fully committed to that. And then on the break, we've seen how dangerous they can be. I mean, Dave will know more than me, but Man United have struggled to break down teams a little bit this season.
Oh, Dave knows.
But with Liverpool, they won't necessarily have that problem. We basically play two at the back, and so if they're able to get on the ball and they're able to hit us on the counter, then I think they will cause us problems.
Well, also this will be Ollie's first fixture, this actual fixture, with it being away. Last time, obviously, Mourinho got sacked after the 3-1 defeat for you guys.
Yeah. So he's had 2 draws against Old Trafford, so not bad result considering with the comparisons in the table at the moment. So I think he'd be confident. To be interested to see how he approached it, because he's obviously used to coming to Manchester United, looking down on us on the table, isn't he? Whereas now it's a little bit rose reverse. So
seem a bit smug about that, John.
Do you know what? It's took a long time since I've been able to be smug coming to Manchester, so I'm going to enjoy it. I am going to enjoy it.
Lap it up. Statman Dave there gritting his teeth, right?
We're very close as well.
I'm just going to go and sit over there.
I can see him shuffling his stool along then. Well, Dave, Manchester United seem to have done better overall against top 6 sides. Is it as obvious as them being better on the counter-attack, or do you think there's more to it than that?
I think there could be a little bit more. I think maybe the work they do on the training ground is a little bit more geared to these bigger games, should we say. Maybe their overall game plan needs a bit of work, but coming against Liverpool and how Man United set up, they should have won that game. Playing 3 at the back, pressing the right areas. Fabinho was under pressure throughout the whole game. Both of the wing backs had a man on them, and that's how you stop this Liverpool team. So they had a plan, they executed the plan really well. But then Jurgen Klopp slightly changed it. So United need to be aware that if Jurgen Klopp does change it, moving Jordan Henderson out wide, right, and playing more of a 4-2-3-1 shape, what do United do then? Because I don't think that answer was quite as good as the first one, because United switched to a 3-5-2 and there was a little bit too much space for Liverpool to play out the back, when previously there'd been pressure on the second line, should we say, first line being the 2 centre-backs. So it's kind of, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer starts with the back 3, what happens next? And then, how can they beat Liverpool? Because if they do that and they play like they did, they've got a good chance.
Just about having that plan B. Well, I was going to say, I've got to give you the right to reply, because John looked very smug there, talking about Liverpool, Man United. Do you actually believe Man United could be in with a chance of winning this game?
I think so, yeah. I think it showed. Marcus Rashford against Liverpool has been in fantastic form. Only Leicester City in the Premier League has he scored more goals against in the Prem. So it's a team that he likes to play. He's a player that's like that. You look at Dan James and his pace. I think that's the thing that frightens Liverpool, is their pace. I'd go with those 2 up front. Not Anthony Martial. I think that is the game. It's getting into those wide areas. And we saw the assist for the goal. One channel to another channel, United score. And that's exactly what they need to do. Liverpool haven't changed too much. Whether they do adjust, they play a back, hold one of the full-backs when they attack and create a back 3, could be an answer, or playing that 4-2-3-1. So it is more like the ball's in Jurgen Klopp's court, but I expect him just to be the same 4-3-3 we've seen all season.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're so strong at home at the moment. That's the thing. It's been so long since they've lost at home in the league that everyone comes with confidence.
Wouldn't that be so great? Just be fantastic.
But we're just kind of so confident. And what I really like about this Liverpool side is that, everyone knows the qualities, but they do find different ways to win, and they do figure it out. And as Dave says, they changed the tactics at Old Trafford. It went well. They got back on top, and I think we've got a few players coming back now as well, which really helps us. And so, there's for a while, it was basically whoever's fit kind of get off them on the pitch. But now with Fabinho back in training, it's been such a key player for us. We've done so well to kind of cope without him, but we'd love to have him back. Obviously, options like Shaqiri off the bench, and Mo Salah didn't play at Old Trafford as well. And I think he's a real key player for us, especially when it's not quite happening. He can always kind of bring something out of nothing. So we're feeling strong. Obviously, we're feeling confident. And as I say, going to Anfield now, it's just lovely. We just turn up, we see great football, we win. It's wonderful.
You're so happy, aren't you, John?
Gone are the days of Roy Hodgson and Rafa Benitez.
Well, let us know in the comments. Do you think Liverpool are going to win this, or could Man United be in with a chance? We shall see. Right, we've got Liverpool's starting 11 from last week's 1-0 win over Tottenham on screen. Now, Klopp has previously ruled out Keita and Milner, but could see Lovren and Matip available. That's the latest as we are recording. So, John, how do you expect Jurgen Klopp to set up for this?
Fully expect at least 10 of those to play. We've had a week-long break. It's a nice, considering what it was like over Christmas, where people having to rotate. We've had a week recovery, so we're fully expecting at least 10 of those to start. I think the only question mark is Oxlade-Chamberlain there, who didn't maybe have the best game against Spurs in comparison to other midfielders who played there. I thought Lallana, when he came on, played really, really well. Obviously, he's following up a brilliant performance against Everton in the FA Cup, where he really led that team. And I think Klopp will have appreciated that, because he had some young boys around him, but he really kind of, took it on as captain of that side that day and played fantastically well. He's also got a good intensity about him, Lallana. He might not have 90 minutes in him anymore, but he knows he's got a good hour from Lallana. So if he thinks it's going to be a game where he wants to press, he thinks it's going to be a game where there's going to be a lot of pace, quick, I think Lallana is a really good option for him. The only slight wild card is Fabinho. So Fabinho hasn't been back in training too long. He's only back in full training this week, but he's such a good player and he's been such a big player for Jurgen Klopp for the last 12 months or so. You might think, I'll go a bit more solid, worrying a little bit more about Man United on the break, play proper defensive midfielder, and that obviously allows us to push Henderson up there as well, play a little bit more attacking. So that's the wild card option for me, Fabinho.
I like this. I feel like we need a wild card with every guest. I like this name for it.
It's your wild card. At number 3, it's Fabinho.
So
basically, this is what we're looking at now is what you think Klopp will play.
I think that's our strongest team at the moment, and I think he'll be really tempted to go for Fabinho. If you're asking me to fully commit, I think the Lallana option will be the one that he goes for, but I won't be totally surprised if he throws Fabinho in there.
Perfect. Thanks for that, John. Right, so Statman Dave, if we drop Manchester United's last Premier League 11 in from the 4-0 win over Norwich, bearing in mind that the latest injury news as we're recording is that they're still expected to be missing key midfielders Paul Pogba and Scott McTominay, where do you think the key battles are likely to be?
There's going to be a big game for the forward players of United in a work rate sense. I think for me, I'd go back to what works so well at Old Trafford. I think a back three is needed in there. I think Pereira's pressure from the front is needed as well, but also the pace of Dan James. I think Dan James and Marcus Rashford as a pair have been fantastic on the counter-attack. In terms of assists, James assisted Rashford 4 times, the only combination that's combined for more goals. Kevin De Bruyne to Sergio Aguero, we all know how good that is. But also I'd go for a back three. The issue for Manchester United when playing a back three against Liverpool is who plays in a way. You're thinking Eric Bailly's been out injured, he played for the reserve 60 minutes, so he could be the guy that steps in. Or maybe Aaron Wan-Bissaka. You're thinking the injury list for centre-backs at the moment is pretty big. Rojo's out, Axel Tuanzebe's out, as we mentioned before. But this is how I'd set up against Liverpool. I think you've got to go, you've got to press the wing-backs when they're in possession. You've got to deal with their DM. That's the interesting side there. Fabinho is fantastic at DM. Henderson is a better shuttler for me. So that's where United could really win the ball high. If they can win the ball high, then you've got the likes of James and Rashford to fly in and get into those areas. Big problems for Liverpool. The problem is if you don't go with the back three and you can't press them high, Liverpool will just have too much of the pitch to deal with.
John, do you feel confident looking at that?
Yeah, I do, but I think you've got to respect the opposition as well. And I think, there's players there who've done well against Liverpool in the past. Marcus Rashford's done goals against Liverpool. He's been problems for Trent in particular in that channel, and I think Liverpool will have to approach this game like it's almost like a big European home game where you're thinking, we want to get on top, we want to win the game, but you've got to be conscious of what they can do on the break to you as well. And so I think Liverpool will be full of respect to Man United. I just think, in terms of, as I say, our home form's just so strong at the moment and confidence is so high, we just think we can beat anyone.
Right. Go on. Oh, Dave, you look like you wanted to chip in there.
No, just Eric Bailly's an interesting one because I remember him coming back from injury 2 seasons ago when Man United beat Liverpool 2-1 at home. Marcus Rashford grabbed twice, and the game that you mentioned, Trent got his, turned inside and out. But Bailly was man of the match that day. Rashford scored twice, but Bailly was man of the match. Had a really good game in a defensive sense. So even bringing him in this late period, although it's worrying because he maybe isn't 100% match fit, could be the one that could try and deal with that. Because that is the big issue. Going 3v3 versus one of the best front threes in Europe is always going to be, there will be potential problems, but you have to do that against Liverpool.
I wonder whether he might tempt it to go for someone like Juan Mata, who played well recently and has won at Anfield and scored at Anfield, hasn't he? And so having that kind of mentality might be something we got. I'd be more worried if I saw Mata on the team sheet personally as a Liverpool fan, but maybe that's just my general fear of Man United past.
Well, of course, Juan Mata, he had a good game against Norwich, didn't he, Dave?
He did, but I think that, it's a different game against Liverpool. I think Juan Mata's creativity needed against Norwich City, that the 2 assists were fantastic, but I think you need that pressure on defensive midfield. That's why you go with someone like Pereira ahead of him, just because of that work rate. Juan Mata's getting to the end of his career. It's more of, him controlling games. This isn't a game that you want to control. You need to have that sort of, you need that ability to press. United's shape at some points will be, a pretty much a 4-5-1 in a way, so you can't expect Mata to be the guy that's shooting around, but could be an option off the bench. Done it at Anfield before, or Wanfield, should we say. He could do it again.
Okay, thank you very much for that, guys. Let us know your predicted 11s in the comments. Would you like to see Juan Mata feature again? And should Minamino start his first Premier League game? Right, there are lots of fixtures happening in the Premier League across the weekend. So John and Dave will just break them down, get your opinions on each of them. That all right? First off, then, the early kickoff on Saturday, Watford Spurs. I feel like Watford could win this, John.
Yeah, I agree. I've been really impressed with them recently. Obviously, the managerial change, but I sort of suspected even before that there was something there that, I think it was a good job to take over. I think it was a nice one for Pearson to get. I think there was lots more to get out the squad. But to be fair, he's been able to do that as well. Tottenham are conceding goals, and that's been a problem. It's very un-Marino-like that he's been able to come in and not kind of solve that really. So I think Watford are the team with the tails up, and why not?
Yes, indeed. Right then, Sheffield United could cause an upset, couldn't they, against Arsenal?
They could. It was quite interesting to hear from Ollie Norwood that he basically was saying they had the game against Liverpool, then they played they played City, then they played Liverpool. First, yeah. They looked very ordinary against Liverpool. They didn't look like how they played in the first game, a lot of energy. And he just said because they're tired. Playing those 2 big games so close together, it's a fair point, but they look good in the last game. They've had some time off now. Arsenal come to this game, there's expectance there. Yeah. The system looks quite good. Ozil's operating narrow, Aubameyang's making the runs in behind, Lacazette's coming off, Kolasinac on the left wing is providing great width, Pepe on the right-hand side, but it's still very much a work in progress. David Luiz is carrying the ball out of defence a lot. He did it very, very well in the last league game against Palace, but Sheffield United are a team that could win it high and then break in behind you, and that'd be a problem. I think a draw, I'm going to go with this. I think Sheffield United may pick up the lead, and then Arsenal come back into it.
We shall see. Right then, 2 teams right down at the bottom now, Brighton and Villa.
Yeah, Pepe Reina back in the Premier League, which is nice to see. He was a big fan. So you're a big fan favourite at Liverpool. I think he's going to be busy though. I think it'll be a tough day for them. Brighton struggled a little bit recently, but generally speaking, I think doing much better than most people expected. I think a good example of going for the right manager and not necessarily the biggest name you can get. But I fancy Brighton in this one. I think they'll have too much.
Thank you for that, John. Right, Man City, Crystal Palace.
I think this is going to be a cricket score. I've got a feeling. It's a team, obviously, that Palace have been quite good generally against City. They've always been a team where you think, as a Liverpool fan, you probably think, oh, that could be the upset there. But I think this City team, they look really hot at the moment. De Bruyne, Aguero look back to their best. They've got a new sort of shape in attack. They're throwing their fullbacks forward instead of being, that inverted position. And I think it's just going to be another hammering, I think, for Palace here. I really do.
How much of a hammering are we talking?
I'm going to go 6-1.
Wow. Would you agree with that?
Back to back.
I think City look incredible at the moment.
They just look hot.
Fantastic.
6-1 though?
Could be.
Good luck, Palace. Must win for both of these 2 teams, Norwich and Bournemouth, isn't it? That's
12 point of that.
I mean, look, Norwich will be looking at this and thinking if we can't win this one, then you're almost kind of writing it off already, really. Aren't you? It's hard because I think we've all enjoyed watching Norwich this season. They played some good stuff. They beat Man City, just talking about them. What an amazing season. What a Goodison Park as well. They're like every Liverpool fan's second team. But it's just they've just found it tough, haven't they? And in both boxes a little bit, for all the kind of good play. I think they do need to win this one, but then Bournemouth fans will feel the same, won't they? So
really poor run of form for Bournemouth.
Yeah, absolutely, and could Eddie Howe actually be in a bit of trouble, in terms of his job? Because if you're the Bournemouth chairman, you know everything that Eddie Howe's done, but if you're looking around the other teams who are at the bottom who have replaced the manager and have got instant results from it, there must be that temptation.
There must be. Who's going to win this then, John?
I'll sit on the fence to say a draw. which is no good to either of them.
I was going to say, yeah, Norwich and Bournemouth fans were like, come on, John, give us something.
I'll please no one.
Right, Southampton Wolves, who weirdly all of a sudden, I think there's only 3 points between them now.
Yeah, Southampton are on a really good run of form. I think what's been impressive is how Hasenhutl's got his team across now, winning the ball back in the high areas. Danny Ings is just so in form, it's ridiculous. I'd fancy Southampton here. I think the pressure, James Ward-Prowse, especially in central midfield, has been really, really impressive. Winning tackles, but also danger from set pieces. And Wolves have got a difficult FA Cup game midweek, I've had a difficult FA Cup game this week. We're recording before the game. I expect Southampton to pick up the 3 points here.
Right then, West Ham Everton.
Yeah, well, obviously Everton under Carlo do much better, at least in the league anyway. Going to West Ham, who had a bit of a bounce under Moyes, but I'm still not quite convinced in terms of what he's going to be able to do for them. I think the problems are there. I think for a couple of games, obviously he did well, but I think there's ongoing issues at West Ham that are maybe more than the manager. So I think Everton with the tails up might go there and win.
Newcastle Chelsea in the 5:30 kickoff, Dave.
I think that might be the one I might avoid this weekend.
Thought you might be
Newcastle are always the team I avoid. I'm sorry, but
I've noticed that there's a recurring theme. Sorry, Newcastle
I'm not a fan of Newcastle. And Chelsea have come alive away from home, to be fair, away from Stamford Bridge. The pressure looks a little bit more off. They've got a much better record away from home. But I just feel it could be a bit of a turgid game. If Chelsea are drawn into the battle that Newcastle want to play, sitting deep, just defending for the 90 minutes and looking to break at times, then it's not going to be the most exciting. But yeah, I think Tammy a few goals, Chelsea win.
Right. Do you not think, though, Joe Linton this could be a start of a run of him scoring goals?
Potentially, if they use him right. He's a really good forward when you get the ball to his feet, but Newcastle seem to be lomping the ball long to him. They think he's a target man. He's not a target man. And that's the problem, that they're just simply not playing him with a partner that can bring the ball down or feeding him to feet. They're just going long to the channels. Doesn't suit his game.
They were going to rename you Statman Anti-Newcastle Dave.
Yeah, they were.
Aren't we?
You've got a free Joelinton now. I think that's the next one.
We're going to be there on Saturday, so feel free to say whatever you want about Statman Dave. We are giving you free reign here at Squawker, okay? Right, we have a look now at the 2 o'clock kickoff on Sunday. Could Burnley cause another upset like Southampton against Leicester?
Struggling at the moment, Burnley aren't they? I think they'll have enough to stay up, and I think you always fancy with Burnley that they'll get 3 or 4 results, good results in a row to kind of when they need it to push them up the league. I think Leicester have done really well, from bouncing back from those back-to-back City and Liverpool results just before Christmas. I think that could have knocked them, but although obviously it didn't happen for them last weekend, I think generally speaking the form's still good, and I think they've got enough about them to win at Burnley. I think.
You said as well about Eddie Howe, people are going to be questioning his management. What about Sean Dyche then, if they lose again?
I think Sean Dyche is a little bit safer just because of the money aspect. I think you look at Bournemouth, they're seen as a small club, but they have spent decent money. They back him every summer, and I don't think enough of those new players that Eddie Howe's brought in have really done enough for them.
From Liverpool, even selling all the guns.
We do very well out of the end of the Bournemouth fund. Whereas Burnley, I think there's a recognition. Look, it's still, if it's not the 20th lowest budget in the league, it's the 19th, isn't it? And I think the chairman knows he's onto a good thing there. He knows that, as I say, I just think as well when it matters, they'll pull 3 or 4 good results together, and you'll see them moving up.
And the last game, I'll just jump in here, 4-0 Manchester United.
John, right to reply. What do you say to that?
I don't think we could see the 4 at home all season. So I'm not necessarily as expecting it in one game. No, I think Liverpool are going to be too strong. 3-1 I'll go for.
3-1, 4-0. Let us know who you agree with in the comments. I've got a feeling who might win this one. So it is Squawker Challenge time, aka my favourite time of the show. The leaderboard is up on the screen, and John, your Anfield Wrap teammates, or your employees, as you're the boss, you can see have done pretty well, sitting in 3rd and 4th, right? So, do you fancy your chances of beating them?
Absolutely not.
I had a feeling you were going to say that. So, are you up for it though?
Yeah,
you're going to give it a go. I like this, right? You have got 60 seconds to name as many Brazilian football clubs as you can, starting now.
Flamengo, just played them. Grêmio, Recife, Santos, Fortaleza. I feel like there's more F's. Fluminense. Atletico Mineiro, is it? Botafogo. Corinthians.
Doing well.
Struggling now.
You are?
I said Grêmio, didn't I? Where did we get Firmino from? It's another F. I can't remember it.
Oh, come on, John. You've got to double your score to get up there with your employees.
You can see where the talent is at the Anfield Wrap. I've said Santos, Sao Paulo.
Come on,
I have said Santos.
10 seconds left.
I think
Pressure.
I am out.
5, 4. Any more? Say anything. 3, 2, 1. Time's up.
I should have just said Brazilian cities, maybe.
Your time is up, and according to our producer, who's hidden behind the camera over there, who I trust more than me, you scored 10, John, which puts you here.
No, that's not too bad.
I mean,
Just
when you
above
look at
Jack, below Paul
where
Machin.
Mo Stewart and Lizzie Doyle are, it's not great. Lizzie scored twice what you got, and Mo just over. But
I know.
Listen, you came, you contributed, you had a go, John.
You said you thought about patronising people.
You gave it a good go, John. Thank you.
Turned up.
And you get a medal for just taking part.
You're wearing a lovely coloured top.
Thank you,
so
I'll
thanks,
take
John.
that.
Thank you so much. Right, if you're into all things Man United, we've got another video out this week looking at how their squad can develop. So give that a click above my head now somewhere. Right, John, thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure.
Let the people at home know where they can find more of you.
Yeah, just the Anfield Wrap. That's Wrap with a W. So obviously we're on all the social media channels, YouTube as well. And we've got a podcast which comes out every Monday and Friday as well. And there's a subscription service if you really like that. But yeah, thanks a lot for inviting us down. We appreciate it. We appreciate the support and the love.
That. He's done that plug before, hasn't he? I like that.
I've heard it before.
See, now you see who's the boss, you know what I mean? I might be rubbish on football.
Everything, plug it.
I'm great at selling.
John, it's been a genuine pleasure.
Thanks
Thank you
very
so much.
much.
Statman Dave, as always, thank you so much. We are also on 95,000 subscribers, and every single one makes a difference as we head for 100k. So if you haven't subscribed already, make sure that you do. 5,000 to go. That's not bad, is it?
It's close.
We've got this. So please do hit the subscribe button. Enjoy all of the weekend's football, and we will be back with you here on Squawker next week.